welcome to Q&N Sports. My name is Liz Flynn. 3 years, $102 million. Now, Tom, if this was a normal free agency situation, I would say it could go either way, Dodgers, Mets, whatever. He turned this free agency into a reality TV show.
Offensively, the Bobcats have produced at least 5 runs in 7 of their 8 games. On the mound, starters like Brandon Garcia and Arthur Carrera are having an above-average season compared to their past numbers.
The spring season at Quinnipiac is going to look a little different than normal because of the COVID circumstances. We're not seeing the usual similar spring sports, but we also have some fall sports on top of that that were postponed last semester. What is your team to watch for this spring?
And your talents aren't limited to just Quinnipiac. You've also covered the MLS, particularly the Philadelphia Union. How did you land that opportunity?
Tony DeAngelo was a very problematic guy on the Rangers. They waived him after that big incident with their goalie Alexander Georgiev with fighting in the tunnel or not fighting in the tunnel and arguing with each other. Drew Brees has officially retired from the New Orleans Saints, and they need a new quarterback. My pick is Jameis Winston.
Quinnipiac baseball was the team to watch coming into this season. They are the reigning MAC regular season champions, MAC tournament champions, and they also have an NCAA tournament win under their belt. Unfortunately, things aren't looking so great right now. So far this season, Quinnipiac is 2-6. The latest blunders coming against Ryder after going 1-3 on that weekend, and Monmouth also going 1-3. The question now, what's going wrong? Offensively, the Bobcats have produced at least 5 runs in 7 of their 8 games. On the mound, starters like Brandon Garcia and Arthur Carrera are having an above-average season compared to their past numbers. The issue is lying in the bullpen. Relief pitchers are not getting out of jams as they should, and their ERAs are through the roof. They're allowing all of Quinnipiac's opponents to pile up runs, but if you take away those incidents, Quinnipiac's season could be looking very different. Teams playing Niagara this weekend in a 4-game series. Keep an eye on their bullpen, because if they can tighten things up, the Bobcats are going to be on their way to climbing back to the top of the MAC, and it will be a completely different ballgame.
And you are in your second year as chairman after previously holding the position of online editor. How have you seen this organization grow over the years that you've been in it?
It's been amazing. I remember the first thing I ever did at QBSN. I was a little freshman who didn't really know where he was going, and I was covering a men's soccer game, and I had no idea what I was doing or who the players were or anything like that. But there are a few things that the organization has done that I like to think I've at least played a small part in. The first thing is brand recognition. I think that the organization from freshman year up until now has really started to have a bit of a bigger presence on campus. And that's across the board. That's with the magazines, that's on social media. Our follower numbers are going way up. So I think that's a big thing, brand recognition. And really just the quality of content, at least from what I've seen, has gotten much better as well. And that's a testament I have to the members that I've had on eBoard this year, of course, and also last year. We had a lot of really great eBoard members who made it their priority to not only manage the organization, but also teach the younger students. And I think that's really paid off in the last 24 to 36 months.
And one last question before I let you go. What advice can you give to the aspiring sports photographers that are out there?
Take every opportunity that is available for you, whether it's paid or not. Everything is going to look good on your resume. Everything's going to look good on your portfolio, saying you worked for this client, no matter if they paid you or not, is an incredible experience. Yes, it kind of stings because photography is so expensive to get into, but if you're passionate about it, you will eventually make money. And just follow it, follow your passions, follow your dreams with it, and you will succeed, and it's going to be a blast doing it.
I still can't believe I watched that game and just got to witness that in person.
Yeah.
It was insanity. Do you remember where you were the exact moment of that happening?
I was in a living room in Boston watching that game, and what's great about it is it gave me flashbacks to like Damian Lillard calling game. All I was missing was the little hand wave from Suggs, you know? Then he hopped on the scorer's table, reminded me of a vintage Dwayne Wade. Fantastic time, moment of a lifetime for him. Definitely a top 5 draft pick in next year's draft.
I even have to say, as a Villanova fan, it reminded me a little bit of that Villanova-UNC game. I can't help it. I got to get Villanova into the show somehow. The road to Pittsburgh is almost here. 16 teams will make the tournament, and this is how that list shapes up right now. Now, there's a lot going on here, but we are going to focus on the regional teams highlighted in yellow. Boston College, UMass Amherst, Boston University, Quinnipiac, and Providence are teams you should look out for this month. Quinnipiac and Boston College are leading in their respective conferences. And then on the flip side, Northeastern and UConn are not quite in the top 16, but hey, anything can happen, so keep an eye out on this list. It's February 10th, and 6 teams are out of commission. Vegas, Buffalo, New Jersey, Minnesota, Colorado, and now most recently Philadelphia are all shut down because of all these COVID outbreaks. Teams are playing in their own regions, which helped a little bit, but the North region in Canada is the only team that's handling it because Canada is also doing better with COVID. So of course that's what the numbers are going to look like. Celtics-Hornets game, Miles Bridges is going to go up, and Romeo Langford says, no, sir. First minutes of the season, and he's going to absolutely stuff Bridges. Let's look at that one more time, Sergio. Much like your middle school crush, absolutely rejected. Well, Sergio, it is time to talk about the New York Mets. Let me just take a second to let that sit in.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe.
Okay, now, here we go. If the folks at home are wondering why I don't sound thrilled, you are going to find out why soon enough. But before we even get to the game, let's take things back a week. The Mets were supposed to start their season against the Nationals, but COVID-19 had other plans. Our New York Mets correspondent, Marie Taprani, has more. Now let's stick with the NCAA, but move a little bit away from March Madness and talk about Archie Miller. He has been fired as the Indiana head coach for their basketball team, and it's not very surprising. He was their head coach for 4 seasons. They didn't make it to a single NCAA tournament. And their athletic director, Scott Dolson, released a statement saying that after analyzing everything about the team, they thought this was the best way to go. In short, your coach didn't do his job, and now you need to find somebody else. Grace Markey is left all alone, and she scores that goal. Next up, Courtney Vorster puts the puck in the top right corner. That's another one. After that, Taylor House takes advantage on the power play and scores, but Colgate would not give up, and Colgate would begin to fight back. Daniel Dodaki catches the Bobcats slipping and gets a goal back. With less than a minute left, Dodaki gets another goal to make it 4-3, but it would not be enough. An empty netter seals the deal for the Bobcats. I hate to go back to Quinnipiac because we already talked about them, but it's hockey. And I cannot stop thinking about that devastating loss that they had in the NCAA tournament against Minnesota State. Blowing a 3-1 lead, goal in the final seconds. You just hate to see that overall. When we come back, Lucas and I will take you through the latest in Quinnipiac sports. Don't go anywhere.